had to drag my AC out of my car to my apartment building. 3 guys passed me. None of them offered to help. None. 0 out of 3. Why? Because you couldn't lift it? You were too scared to lift it? Is that why?
I love how immediately they go to the fear. They go to the phobia. It's the only lens they understand. That, like, they have so many cards in their deck, and they're all leftist cards. They're all jokers. Like, did the AC frighten you? Was it? No, it didn't frighten them. And then you immediately try to shame them and attack their masculinity. I swear to God, she is like one of those entertainment corporations in the West that makes video games for $120 and then tries to shame people for not buying the video game. It's like, why don't you buy it? Are you a racist? Are you a homophobe? Like, why don't you buy the product? And you're like, well, it's a bad product. No, you have to buy it. It's literally like that. Holy shit. I looked into the comment section and someone asked, well, were you going to make him a sandwich? And it was a powerful question. It got a lot of traction. Why? Because if she wants men to follow the gender roles, which would mean that men would have to be gentlemen, well, she also has to be like a lady. Making a video complaining that no man helped you is not ladylike behavior. What I also find interesting is that she can afford to have an AC and she can afford to have a car. I don't know how many Americans realize just how big this is. No, seriously, it's actually big. Like, most people around the world cannot afford to have a car or an AC. I don't have a car, for instance. Don't have a car. But anyway, she can afford that, but she can't afford to pay someone to bring the AC all the way up. I mean, there are people that are actually struggling to find some work. No, I'm not even kidding. Like, it's true, right? There are people that want to do an honest day of work. There's probably like teenagers out there that would want some pocket money, and no one hires them. Why doesn't she pay someone? But even then, okay, what is her husband? Like, that's what husbands are for, carrying stuff. Like, you think I would ever allow my wife to carry an AC all the way up? Like, absolutely not. I would be there. I would help. But at least there's a relationship between her and I. Like, there's a reason for me to help. To be honest, though, I would probably help my neighbor as well. But we live in a high-trust society. Like, I have the certainty that if I had the problem that my neighbor could help with, they would. Meanwhile, the thing is, like, probably the men that were around you, they don't think you would help them if they needed any help. And then, let's not forget, there's also the issue that if you're a man and you try to help, you'd be labeled a simp. Like, if you have no relationships with the lady, and you know for sure that she's not going to start dating you or take an interest in you just because you helped her with the AC, then doing that is actually going to make you look worse in the eyes of society. And I see it on the internet as well. A lot of women are at the forefront of driving this shame. That if you do something nice for a lady, just because you want to do something nice, then you're labeled a simp automatically, unless you have a relationship with her. I mean, look at content creators, right? There are a lot of female streamers, and some don't do any lewd stuff. They just talk about politics. But the moment, like, someone gives them a donation, and they would have given them a donation if they were a guy, they just like the content, immediately people label them simps. And it's women that do this, right? Now, of course, maybe it's not her. Like, maybe she doesn't behave this way. But you cannot be pretending that you don't see the culture. Like, you don't know what's going on. And there are a lot of changes that didn't exist 20 or 30 years ago. And now you want to pretend that those changes don't exist only when it favors you. I mean, okay, let's look at it from this point of view. Why should they help? And your answer is probably, well, they should want to. They should want to feel nice that they did something. So my follow-up question would be, who does something nice for them? Like, what do they get in return? Not from you, but like, when they're down, when they're miserable, well, what exactly do they get? You know, like, if you see a man that's upset, do you go and do you talk to them? Do you try to cheer them up? Do you try to make them feel more happy? No, you don't, right? So, like, what you want is an underclass. Like, you want a group of people that just go around helping strangers, getting nothing in return. Instead, they actually get ridiculed and belittled for doing so. Yeah, that's not fair. You know what? I don't think you'd want your son to be treated like this. In fact, I've noticed a lot of women in my life who pretended not to understand these social dynamics and keep demanding stuff from men. And, then they grew up, they got married, and they had a son. And all of a sudden, they understand all the social dynamics. All of a sudden, they tell their sons, hey, don't go with this chick, because, she's trying to take advantage of you. Hey, stop being so nice to people you don't know, because they're trying to take advantage from you. Yeah, it's fascinating. I'm not kidding. Like the moment they have a son, they change their behavior. They start to understand certain things that they didn't before. Certain behavior that they had with other men, they recognize in other women who are trying to do the same with their son, and they're warning them. It's interesting. I don't know if it's the same in the United States, but again, I know cases in my life like that. I had a couple of colleagues at the university, and they had the same attitude and the same behavior. And the moment that they ended up having a son, they changed their mind almost completely, and they're giving their son advices that they wouldn't give to other men. But yeah, no, myself included, I wouldn't have helped a complete stranger carry an AC unless I know them, unless I have a relationship with them. There's no way. Think about it this way. If you damage the AC, let's say you drop it. Let's say you mishandle it. You ram it against a wall or something. Who's responsible for that? Is she going to let it slide or not? I don't know her. Well, what if she is actually trying to scam me? This is another Eastern European thing. You don't trust strangers at all. And there is actually such a scam where a person asks you to carry something of some worth, and then they claim that you damaged it, and now you gotta pay for it. No, seriously, that's an actual scam that has been done in Eastern Europe. Why would I even position myself in a situation like that? If I don't know the person, then I'm not carrying no AC. And to be honest, I think this is what's happening here. I think that she walked past the men in her neighborhood time and time again, didn't even say hello, didn't even talk to them, didn't even acknowledge their existence, and then she expects that they would rush to help when she has an AC. Well, it doesn't work that way. Again, if you want men to act like gentlemen, you need to act like a lady as well. So if you're going to pretend they don't exist and you don't even acknowledge their presence, why should they all of a sudden rush in to help you? Why? Just because you look good? It's no, they got Tinder now. They can talk with other women. They can just go on Discord and talk to people. It's not like in the past where the only time a man would get the female companionship is if they helped her carry an AC all the way up. They got the anime. Yeah, but it's interesting because you have these TikTok videos, and look at this, right? 1.9 million views. And the fascination is that you have academics on the left that constantly tell us that culture shapes society. This is their entire thesis on inclusivity, on diversity, on representation. It's basically, we need to show more movies where women are empowered. We need to show more video games where women are empowered. More comic books. Everywhere you look, you have to see the girl boss. Literally everywhere. And they write articles in the press and they talk about how strong women are. And, they pretend then that this has no effect. That if you actually believe then that women are the girl boss, it's okay, well, she is carrying the AC to her room. Why exactly would I be there? She's just as strong as me. She's just as powerful as I am. So why would I even go there and try to help? And it's also the thing, when people go to help, is the exception not the rule? Yeah, sometimes I carry something heavy and, most of the time, people just ignore me, or maybe they hold the door open. Sure, very rarely does someone actually pitch in to help. And when that happens, yeah, you're happy because, yeah, that person is a hero in your eyes. So many people walked away, but this guy wants to help. But he is doing something he's not supposed to. He's going over the call of duty. Most people have no obligation to help you with anything, right? The last thing that I would do is to make a TikTok video and start complaining that no one wanted to help me. Just imagine this, right? Imagine if a guy was depressed and he was complaining that as he was sitting on a bench in the park, 10 women walked past him and none of them actually tried to spark a conversation with him. How would that be viewed by the public? Who would care? So why is it expected that in a world where we abolished gender norms, we still have to follow by them? Let me know what you guys think, and as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.